Good morning, thank you, and welcome to Connecting Communities with Giovanni Mata. Today is Friday, March the 28th, 2014. We thank you for always viewing our program. And today we have a wonderful show because we have a distinguished guest that we will be introducing to you shortly. But first, we hope that you're enjoying the first week of spring. I think all of us were waiting desperately for that wonderful spring that we are now having, but the cold is still trying not to go away. But thanks for viewing all of our shows during this summer, during this actually winter that we had in this year. But hopefully we hope to continue with this show during the spring of 2014 with a lot of good things that we can bring to you, especially with some distinguished guests like the one we have today. So we are very happy to have today our wonderful guest, whose name is Archana Sharma. She is a real estate attorney for Liberty National Title Agency. Archana, welcome.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me, Giovanni.
You're welcome. It's a wonderful pleasure. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, tell me about your name, because I was having a little bit of challenge pronouncing your name.
My name is Archana Sharma.
Okay.
And that's the Hindi. I come from India.
Okay.
I was born and brought up in Delhi. And I've been living in US, living my dreams for the past 20 years now.
Well, I know Indian food, just for you to know that.
Oh, you like it?
Yes.
You gotta come with me.
I have a lot of Indian food in Jackson Heights.
Really?
74th Street.
Wow, now I'll take you to the new place, Hicksville. I live in Long Island.
Okay.
And there's South Indian, there's North Indian, there's dosas, there's chicken makhni. Everyone in England, they love the gravy.
I just love the spicy food that you have.
Okay,
so
fine. That's great.
So we now we now know that we can go and eat some at some Indian place here.
Sure, why not?
Well, wonderful. Well, thank you for coming to our show.
Welcome.
And tell us about the firm and that you are currently working. But before that, can you tell us about a little bit of your background, coming from India?
Of course.
Being a woman, a lot of these things that are challenging sometimes.
Yes.
There is a very famous woman that is actually fighting a lot for the women's rights in India.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit
about it. Let me tell you about
it.
my political background, because when I was not even 18 years old, I was 17, I wasn't allowed to vote back then. I won elections as a vice president of entire Delhi University, which is 60 colleges. It's like a member of parliament elections here in US, and you campaign. We go to all the dorms where students live in. We campaign. Each and every single member of university, which means each students who are enrolled in every single college, vote for you. And I was the only woman from my panel from Congress who won as a vice president of Delhi University, and I ran office there for 2 years. So I worked very closely with Sonia Gandhi, if you heard her name, and with the Dalmias and people in India who are politically involved. Right now, my friends are member of parliaments. They're ministers. One of my very good friend, Lovely, is an education minister in India right now. But my dream was to go to US and study more,
Okay.
And even now, I have that dream that I promised my daughter when she's gonna go to Boston to study. She wants to go to Harvard University. I'm gonna study there with her for at least a year. I want to do that. Yes.
Great. So fighting for the rights of women, do you see changes coming up along in India?
Of course. I think that media has changed a lot of things in India right now. I see a youth today more involved than any time in the past. When I was there, I was a vice president back in 1992. Right now it's 2014, 22 years down the road. There's youth who's, they're like participating in daily activities. They are coming to the roads, they know their rights, and media has brought them a good platform to talk about the different issues. They're very motivated, and it gives me a great pleasure to see the youth being so motivated and taking participation in everyday challenges.
Great. And today we are talking to our audience, and we are speaking to Archana Charma, and we're talking about different topics. She's an attorney, a real estate attorney for Liberty National Title Agency. But we're also speaking about the women in India. What are their rights and what are some of the challenges that they have actually faced in India? And because of her background, actually, we are learning a few things here. What is the difference between women in the United States and women in India in regards to rights and in regards to having the freedom of speech that we have in the United States?
Okay. As far as the freedom of speech is concerned, I think that India has done a lot, and like I said, there's media everywhere. They are free to talk and they are free to live their life as they want to. But honestly speaking, you might have heard recently in the news about the rapes that's happening in India, everywhere, in Bombay, in Delhi, and that's what really kills me, because what happens is they don't really, they don't have any sex education in Indian schools, and this is why the Indian kids are not that informed, and they're kind of introverted as long as that topic is concerned.
Okay.
And so that's why we are looking at so many different mishappenings and all over India, and I honestly wish that it stops, and I think it's going to change. The laws in India are going to change for real good. They are taking it very strictly now. They are giving them the rapists, they are giving them lifetime, they're putting them behind the jail for life.
Okay.
They are also giving them death penalties. So I think that it is for good that and the Indian politics is changing and the laws are changing towards women's empowerment.
Okay. Wonderful. So we are learning today with Archana Sharma some of the topics regarding India, but also we're going to go now back local. We're going to go back to Long Island. Tell us about the agency, Liberty National Title Agency. Who are your colleagues? What is that you do at as a real estate attorney? And how can our audience benefit from your services?
My colleague, Patricia Stein, the wonderful woman, full of energy. I love every day.
Who's Patricia Stein?
Patricia Stein is the owner of Liberty National Title.
Okay.
And she's the one who connected me to your show.
Oh, wonderful.
I'm very thankful for her. And
Patricia, if you're watching us, you're our next guest sometime.
Patricia, of course. No, you got to have her. She's so full of energy, this woman. I learn every single day from her.
Okay.
She's a good learning experience.
We have a lot of energy in this show, right?
I only had one coffee this morning.
Oh, okay.
Wait till I have my second one. Okay, so like I said, Liberty National, great agency. We are educating the sellers and the buyers. Most of the times what happens is in real estate, it's a practice that the attorneys, once you go sign a contract with them, they pick an agency for you. Sometimes they have their own title agencies, these attorneys, and they pick them for you. What's good about Liberty National is that as an attorney, I started using them myself 2 months ago, and I became a fan, and that's why I came on board with them, because they are very good. Their charges are very, very good. They are saving a lot of money to the home buyers, and buyers, beware that it is not the real estate attorney who should pick the title company for you. You have the right to pick up your own title company and to pay for your own title as a first-time home buyer, or whenever you're buying for investment, let's say, you can pick your own title company. You can have good relationships with them. What happened in the past in the foreclosure market and the real estate was that a lot of these companies, they charged people and then they disappeared on them. The title companies, for example, are the ones who pick up real estate taxes from the buyer at the closing, or from the seller at the closing, and then they escrow it, and at the end of the day, a couple of months from then, when the tax becomes due, they are liable to pay the taxes to the county, wherever you are buying the house from. Now, if the company disappears on you, then obviously
then you end up liable with those taxes.
You end up paying your taxes again. So I want the buyers and the sellers to know that it's not your real estate attorney who should pick the title company for you. It's you. You have the right to pick it for you. You have the right to have a good relationship with your company. You have the right to go ask them 3 months down the line after the closing, where's my taxes at, So I'm very proud to say that Liberty National Title, is doing an awesome job, and I'm really thankful to God that I'm with such a great company.
Great. So besides the fact that clients can choose their own title company, what are some of the do's and don'ts that some of our buying community can do if people want to buy a property? And what are some of, in regards to title, what are some of the do's and don'ts that you can educate us on that?
I'm glad you asked me that question.
Okay.
Most of the buyers, they go see open houses all over the place,
Especially now with the spring coming and the
Absolutely.
summer.
There will be a lot of buyers out there watching, they're going to see properties and all. As far as the tips are concerned, first and the most important thing that I would like to suggest these buyers is that please hire a real estate agent. Please do. Buyers, first-time home buyers especially, they don't pay any real estate commission. This broker is working for you for free. When you go and see the open houses with a listing agent, that listing agent is a seller's agent. His duty is towards the seller, not you as a buyer. So don't think that he's your agent and he is going to give you all the information that you need. It is your agent, buyer's agent, who is going to give you all the information you need about the house. He's going to educate you on all different issues of buying a house, especially buying first time can be quite overwhelming. There's more than 6 to 8 people that attend the closing itself, let's say. And there's so many players in the game that it's basically very easy to blow the deal.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's clarify. Some of our audience may feel that they prefer to do business just like you buy a car, owner to owner.
Yes.
And then we say, instead of us having to pay for a real estate agent, which may be a mistake that they believe to do that. So let's clarify that if they have, if they are willing to buy a property,
Yes.
if they're the buyer, they don't pay the commission, the seller pays the commission.
Absolutely, and let me
Okay.
explain you how.
Okay.
What happens is in New York, real estate market, thank God, it's not India.
Okay.
It's different over there. There's net listings, it's like very secret, but over here everything is open. It's
Okay.
all the properties are on MLS. Okay, so what happens is when a seller wants to sell a property, he lists it with an agent. An agent can charge, depending on different companies, anywhere between 6 to 10%.
Is there a law that has a limit?
No, there's no law. There's no limit.
Okay.
If you are hiring the best, you should be ready to pay the best commission out there.
Okay.
And
I like that one.
Thank
if
you.
you're hiring the best, you can pay the best commission. Okay.
Absolutely. You
Good to
only
learn.
get what you pay for.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is that, for example, let's say you hire an agent who lists the property for 6% for you. He's going to put the property immediately on the MLS. There's going to be pictures downloaded. There's probably going to be some videos done. And then what happens is, as a buyer's agent, the buyer's agent takes the buyers from one property to the other, to the third one, to the fourth one, the different properties they show. When the agent lists a house, he puts it out on the MLS that he will split his, let's say for example, he's charging 6%, that he will split his commission in half, like 3% with the buyer's agent, or he will split his commission only 2% for the buyer's agent. So the buyer's agent is working for the buyer. He's showing him all the properties, giving him all information.
So nothing is coming out of the person that is buying the
nothing's coming out of the
property.
buyer's pocket. So
Okay.
that's the first tip to the buyers. That's the mistake you do, guys. Choose one agent. Don't be hopping from one property to the other without your own agent. You're killing yourself. You're not paying your buyer's agent anything. It's coming out from the seller's pocket anyway. But that's the professional who knows everything about real estate. He's giving you all the tips. He's telling you, for example, you like the house, you want to now give an offer on it. You need to see the comparables. Nowhere on the internet, on any website, there is any good comparables in the neighborhood. What the agents do is they choose comparables from the neighborhood. Like they tell the buyer within the last 6 months, within the 2 miles radius of the house that you're looking to buy, these are the properties that got sold. These are the square footage of the properties. This is the square footage of the built-in area of the properties. And we suggest that you should offer this price to the house. These are the houses that are selling in the neighborhood for this much price. This is the price difference in the market these days. So he's educating you about all this. Hire a good agent, and then after your contract is done, hire a good attorney to walk you through the process, because it takes any time between 3 to 4 months in New York State to close on your property.
What about those viewers that prefer, and we briefly mentioned it before, they say, you know what, I would prefer to deal on my own. I mean, they don't want to hire an agent, and they will do most of the deal by themselves.
No problem.
What are the risks of them doing that?
Yes.
Is there any risk that especially if they're not an attorney, if they may have some legal or basic legal knowledge? What is the risk of a person? Let's say I want to buy a property, and I will do it myself because I have some legal knowledge, basic legal knowledge. But what are the risks of me going into that process probably with an attorney, probably without all the advice that I need?
Yes.
What are some of the risks that I will fall into by not looking into having a professional staff hire?
I'll just give you a little example for that. You fall down, you break your head, you're bleeding. Do you want to do your own surgery? Do you want to do that? Be my guest.
Okay.
Do that.
Good example.
Thank you.
Okay. So now we are speaking to Archana Sharma she's a real estate attorney for Liberty National Title Agency. So we are speaking about some of the recommendations for those of you who are viewing Connecting Communities with Giovanni Mata, and where today we are connecting you to the real estate world and to the title world with our guests in regards to the best recommendations in what to do and what not to do when you're buying a property. So tell us a little bit, some more in regards to what are the best things that they must do when they buy a property.
All right. Like I said, they have to hire a good agent. Once they are in contract, they have to hire the best attorney who knows what he is doing. Like I said, it takes 3 months to close the property. There are many players in the game. For example, when you sign a contract with the seller, you put a down payment towards the contract. Let's say it's customary to put $40,000 towards the contract. The contract there are so many condition precedents, it's called condition precedents to the contract, which means that seller has made a promise to sell you the property, buyer has made a promise to buy the property. Now they're delivering that promise 3 months down the line on a closing table where seller is exchanging a set of keys and you are giving them money in the certified checks to buy the house. So what happens during these 3 months is of very great importance and value, because there are going to be so many people who are going to walk you from the day when you sign the contract to the day when you exchange keys at the closing and you exchange the checks at the closing. What happens is, once you sign the contract, it becomes a buyer's duty to timely apply for a mortgage, for a loan. Let's say I have a lot of clients who are buying all cash these days, by the way. But there are people who are first-time home buyers. They are putting 20% down, or they are taking FHA loans where they're only putting 3% down. If they have a good income, they have a good credit score. The first thing they have to do is they have to get the signed contract to the mortgage lender, and they have to sign the mortgage application and apply for the loan right away. It takes right now, with how the banks are, it takes any time between 40 to 60 days for them to get something called a conditional commitment from the bank. And like I said, it's not a final commitment, it's a conditional commitment. There are conditions to that as well, which you have to meet as a buyer. The bank gets the appraisal done of the property, which means that, let's say you are buying the property for $500,000. The bank sends their own appraiser to take photographs of the property, to view the property from inside out, and the property should be valued for at least 500,000 for the bank to give you that loan. If the property is only valued at 460, your attorney might have to renegotiate the contract for you because the property is not valued at the price that you're buying it. So once the appraisal gets done, everything's all set. You have your income documents, you gave your income documents to the bank and the bank approves you, then they issue you a loan commitment, and we as a buyer's attorney fax that loan commitment to the seller right away. At the same time, I order title with Patricia, with Liberty National, of course. They do their due diligence to see that this property does not have any cloud on it. It's very important for me to hand the property to the buyer at the closing in a fashion where it's not, there's no liens on it, there's no judgments on it, because there is a term in real estate that's called let the buyer beware, which means that every judgment on the real property runs with the property, not with the seller. Seller, when he takes his certified checks at the closing, he's out of the picture. He's gone, guys. He's nowhere to be found anymore. He has his money. What initiative does he have to come back to you to help you with that property? Not anymore, right? So
what you're saying is any lien or any judgment against the property follows the property.
Absolutely, they follow the property. So you as a buyer, if the property has any violations, let's say an environmental violation or a street violation or any fines, the property has to, you as a buyer of the property, you as an owner now has to step up and take care of those fines. Me as an attorney, is my duty to educate my buyer, to read the title carefully, to review it once Patricia gives it to me, once Liberty gives it to me, to read it carefully, to see if there is any clouds on the property, if there's any judgments on the property, to bring it to seller's attorney's attention, to take care of them now before we hand over the property to the buyer. So at closing, the buyer that gets that property free and clear of all the liens. He is the owner. He has all the right to enjoy that property free and clear of the liens if he is paying the right price for it.
Great. So we are learning today at Connecting Community with Giovanni Mata, with Archana Sharma, about all of these real estate concerns that a lot of our viewers and a lot of our television program viewers are always concerned in regards to real estate. Tell me about after the real estate fiasco a few years ago and how the inflation rate was so created so much damage to our communities. What is the inflation rate nowadays? Is there any concern for people to be concerned about the inflation rates in prices? Is my property, even though the appraisers tend to be the best possible they can, is there still a concern about the inflation rate? If I'm buying a property for $100,000, $200,000, $1 million, am I paying the most accurate price, or there is still concern about inflation rates?
Let me tell you, I'm really old school as far as the property is concerned. Where I came from, my upbringing in India, in Delhi, we always believe if you buy a piece of real estate and if you hold on to it long enough, you are always doing a right investment. Because property is property. It's still, it doesn't move. It's not stocks or bonds that's going to de-evaluate, You just have to hold on to it. If you are buying for quick gains, then of course today is the market to do it. But like I said, if you buy a property and you hold on to it enough, for enough time, you're always making the right investment. As long as and since I have a general practice, let me mention that I not only do real estate, I do a lot of immigration cases. I'm helping a lot of my Hispanic community. Both my office managers in my city office and Jericho office, they speak 5 languages. They speak English, Hindi, Spanish. And I'm helping my community.
Can you say to us something in Hindi?
In Hindi? Yes. Of course. Namaste, मेरे सारे viewers को जो this is Suffolk County or what county is this? Suffolk में जो मेरा आज program देख रहे हैं Long Island में आप लोगों को सबको नमस्ते और प्लीज़ आप मेरा नंबर ये लोग रिफ्लेक्ट करेंगे स्क्रीन पे, मुझे कॉल करिए. टॉक टू माई ऑफिस मैनेजर मोहित इन जेरिको एंड माई ऑफिस मैनेजर इन Sunil Jagtiani in Manhattan. You're more than welcome to call me.
All I can say is that was great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hablo un poquito de español.
Okay, here you go. So, to our viewers, we are connecting you today with the real estate world. We connected you to India, but we cannot have a person from India here without speaking about food.
Okay.
You know, food is something that we speak in this show, and it's part of this show whenever we have a guest. So, tell us some of the favorite place in India that we can eat here in the United States, especially Long Island, especially New York City, for those city people that are watching our show.
I invite all my viewers to come to Hicksville. There's a place called the Dosa. What's that called, Mohit? There's a place called the Dosa Diner. There's the House of Dosas. I love eating South Indian food there. I'm from North India, by the way. South Indian food and North Indian food is very different, you know. So because I cook a lot of North Indian at home, when I go out, I like to eat South Indian because I don't know how to cook that at home.
So what will
So you see these rice crepes, big platters. It's called dosa. And it's filled with different fillings, potatoes and, you know, onions, and, you know, they make different kinds these days.
It's very early in the morning, you know, right?
Yeah, I know. That's true. So, yeah, chai. Let's talk about chai. If it's early in the morning, that's what we like to drink first thing in the morning. Like Americans, they like to drink coffee. And I've become an American too, by the way. I like to drink coffee too. But this is what we did in India. Because India was ruled by British for so many years, British got us used to chai, you know. We boil the tea leaves in the morning in a boiling water. We put some sugar in it. We mix some milk and we make a tea. You know, it's like
chai tea.
Chai tea. So it's not the tea that you dip in boiling water in the microwave or something. It has to be nicely done in a pan on stove, and it has to be properly boiled. And when you drink it, wow, such aroma. It's, you know, I could smell it now.
We can smell it here in the morning in the Connecting Community show.
Right.
We'll make sure that after this show, we're going to have a chai tea. So
let's do that.
Let's do that, okay?
Sure.
So today we're connecting you with Archana Sharma.
Thank you, Giovanni.
You know, we're very happy that you came. You are from you're a real estate attorney for Liberty National Title Agency. She already mentioned the locations where you can actually benefit of the services, and we are happy that you can learn and that we can actually be aware of all those do's and don'ts when buying a property. So one of these reminders that we want to tell our audience is that you are best to hire a professional team when you are buying a property. And of course, what a better team than to have Liberty National Title Agency. So we encourage you to utilize their services and make sure that you actually can visit their offices in Jericho and also in
Manhattan.
In Manhattan.
On 7th Avenue, right across the street from Fashion Institute of Technology, between West 25 and West 26th Street.
And in Jericho, what is the address again?
336 West North Broadway in Jericho, New York.
What? You heard the address, so we'll encourage you to utilize their services, and we're very happy that you came and that we spoke about India.
Business card.
We spoke about the food that we can eat from India here in Long Island, and we also spoke about the service provider there. I cannot close today's show without saying happy birthday to my mother. It's her birthday today, so I have to say happy birthday to my mother. Okay.
Happy birthday. What's your mother's name?
Anna.
Anna, happy birthday, Anna.
So I have to say, you know, just in case she watches the show either now or later, happy birthday to her, and I hope that she enjoys. And well, again,
can you reflect my business card on the screen, please?
Sure, we can definitely do that, and then we can definitely do that if they give it to us. So this is for the records. Here we go. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, so we're very happy that you joined our show today, Connecting Community with Giovanni Mata. We're very happy that you have been with us throughout this month, and we hope that you continue to be with us during this month of the spring and that you enjoy the spring. Okay, we're very happy. Thank you for coming here today.
Thank you so much, Giovanni. Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Thank you, all our viewers. Have a wonderful weekend, and God bless you all.
God bless.